In 1997, Ecuador released this 100 sucres coin featuring Antonio Jose de Sucre on the front of the coin. That is, the currency is named after him. But this coin also honors the 70th anniversary of the Central Bank of Ecuador. So it has the dates of 1927 and 1997 on the bottom. The value of this coin is a 100 sucres and has a catalog number of KM101. In this video, we're taking a look at some coins that I purchased at the Georgia State Numismatic Show in Dalton, Georgia. I picked up these coins in the month of March 2024, and it was from a dealer that I'd never seen before. Now, I had previously usually only gone to coin shows in the Tennessee area, and Dalton is not that far from the Tennessee State Show in Chattanooga. But they only have one show a year, but it is bigger than the one in Chattanooga. And it features some dealers that I'd never met before, including this one dealer who had a lot of foreign coins in a large bin. They were all carded, or most of them were carded. I got a few that weren't on here, and they were 5 for $1. And then everything that we see on the screen here is going to be in this video today. These were the loose ones. These were also 5 for $1. But not the ones in the stack here in the back. We'll get to them at the very end. But I ended up picking up 22 coins out of his 5 for $1. That would be a little over $5, but I should say $4, but he gave me a couple of them free because I bought some extras here at the back. Our next coin is going to be from Seychelles from 2010. So I like the Seychelles coins, how on their coat of arms they have a couple of swordfish on either side of it. But featured on the 25-cent coin is what they call a black parrot. This nickel-clad steel design was used from 1993 to 2012, and this one is catalog KM49A. When I picked up this next coin, I assumed that I already had it, or I thought there was a pretty good chance of it, and, well, I sort of did. This is going to be a 5 tenge coin, and it's from Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan is written in Cyrillic over on the left. But the version I had of this coin was a little bit different. This one was dated 2018. And the version of this coin that I had was the non-magnetic version that was made out of nickel brass made from 1997 to 2016. There's going to be some overlap here, but this is the magnetic version that was made from 2013 to 2018. And this one is brass-plated steel. So let me demonstrate its magnetic ability. I have a magnet of the Kentucky State Quarter, and I'm going to stick it on there, and it picks it up. So on some of these, when they change the metals, it is easy to tell based on the magnetic ability. There are some very subtle changes to the coat of arms in the back here, such as the word Kazakhstan right here. Actually, on the coat of arms is made out of thinner letters. But this was the last year that they made the coin of this very specific design. In 2019, I don't know if they changed how it's spelled or they changed the language or whatever, but the way that the country appears on here, there's going to be a letter Q right here instead of the letter K in Kazakhstan. So they've made these, that's how it is currently made from 2019 up until today. So this is catalog number KM24A. A is the magnetic version. Without the A is the non-magnetic version. And just on a personal note, I have a catalog, my personal catalog where I track all of my coins, is dated 1996, and that kind of gives you an idea of how long I've been at this. So anything that's newer than that catalog in 1996, I've been tracking in Excel. This is my 1,000th coin, different coin, newer than 1996. So just a little personal milestone that I thought you might find interesting. Our next and final loose coin is going to be from Jordan. This is one that features King Hussein. Flip this one over, and it is a 10 piastres coin. At the top, it has both an Arabic date of 1414 and a Gregorian date of 1993. This one has a catalog number of KM55. And since this is a currency that's still in use, they actually in Jordan have a stronger currency than the United States dollar. So this is going to have a foreign exchange value of 14 cents. Of course, I paid 20 cents for the coin, but so I'm not looking to make that kind of arbitrage profit here, but I do think that's interesting. As we get into the flips here, one thing I noticed is a lot of them either had the number 1,000 or 3,000 written on them. I'm not sure what that meant, but I like picking up coins, and even if they don't appear to have a great book value, when I'm at a show like this or going through a bin, I like the things that you don't see as often that might be, well, of course, if I think it's new to my collection, I'm going to pick it up, whether it books for 10 cents or not. But I like the things that I feel like are probably undervalued compared to what the book price might say on some of these. There's nothing in this entire pile that had a book value over about 50 cents. In fact, that Jordan coin was the highest booking coin of this video, and it only had a book value of 70 cents. But I still like all these coins, especially for the price. This next one might be a little bit undervalued because it is corroded some. But we're going to see that, I wonder if he purchased 3,000 coins in one big collection and they're just selling them off over the years in a 5 for $1 bin, and it's been picked through a whole lot, or what's going on here. But I do find it interesting how many of them had 3,000. So this one is from the coin of Malaya and British Borneo. Now, if you're not familiar with this, today these are part of Malaysia, and so under the British monarch for a while they had coins of Malaya. You'll find coins with George VI and older with that. You might find some with Sarawak or Strait Settlement, but when it was Queen Elizabeth's days, it was Malaya and British Borneo, as they brought two of the areas in the region together for one currency. It is a well-worn and kind of corroded coin, but I still think these are interesting. It's from 1953. It's a 10-cent coin, catalog KM2, and coins were made of Malaya and British Borneo from 1953 to 61. And then it became Malaysia in 1963. So in your catalog, there are only going to be 6 coins that were made of Malaya and British Borneo. So if you're trying to put together an entire set of a country, that might be an easy one to start with. Here is a 10-sen coin from Japan. Now, whoever put this in a flip, well, they put a price of 30 cents on it, but they just looked in the catalog and said, well, this was made somewhere between 1940 and 43, and they didn't bother to try and figure out or look it up, but I did. So as this side is up, that plus means 10. That symbol is the number 6. So this is based on the emperor represented with this symbol. This is going to be year 16 or 1941 on this coin. There were 3 different versions of this coin based on the weight. So the ones in 1941, they made it in both a 1.5 and a 1.2 gram version, and then in 1943 they reduced the weight to a 1.0. So there's some other years in there also, but there are 3 different versions based on the weight. Here's the side where it says 10 sen. There's the number 10. That's the symbol for sen. That one is catalog number KM61. We've got a small number of coins from India in a row here. This one is from 1961. This one is a 10 Naya pays. Naya is new. So it was when the peso was kind of a new decimal currency for them. A few years later, they dropped the Naya off of their coins, but this one is I'm going to feature the Asoka lion pedestal that you'll see in a lot of the India coins. There is the number 10. There are two different versions of this coin based on the width of the number 10 here. This is the 7mm version. I think that's the larger version. It was made in 1961. And there is a diamond at the bottom, which means it was minted in Bombay. Or some catalogs will say Mumbai. This next coin from India was made after they dropped the Naya from the Paisa currency, but it's a 3 Paisa from 1965. And a 6-sided aluminum coin. So the coins from India do not have a mint mark letter. Instead, they have a symbol. Usually, that last coin had a diamond on it, which meant it was from Bombay. If they're from Calcutta, there is not a symbol that shows up right underneath the date. So there's just an empty spot right there. But you'll find them you'll see stars and different symbols also that could be on some of the coins. But yeah, this one's from Calcutta. The next two coins from India are fairly similar. They come from the earliest days when they were no longer ruled by the British. This one is going to be an half of an Anna coin from 1954. And so at this point, they were still using their pre-decimal system. The decimal system started in 1957, so there was a period of less than a decade where they were using their old monetary system, but after they left the British, and it included these annas and half annas. And several of these made a rupee. So here's where it says half anna. It has the diamond again under 1954. So again, Bombay. This one is catalog number 2.2, and there are going to be some variations here based on the size of the date. So this in 1954, they used the large date, so it has the 0.2 on the variation. But with that in mind, the next coin is the full 1 anna. So instead of being diamond-shaped, it has this scalloped design. This one is KM 3.2. Again, it's 1954 and a large date and has the diamond mint mark for Bombay. The animal that's featured here is called a zebu. Got our next coin from Japan. As it turns out, I bought some bulk lots at the same show, and I got a lot of coins from Japan just like this one. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have picked it up, but still a nice coin. This one's going to be a 5 cent. The previous one, made out of aluminum, was 10 and made during World War II. This one came from more of a World War I era. There's the 5, there's the sen symbol. And this one is, I believe, copper nickel on the metal. But again, they didn't know the date on here, so they just wrote 1920 to 23. And as I studied the date, this is the symbol that told you the emperor. That's the Showa symbol, and there's the year 10. So it was Showa year 10 makes this 1921. Catalog number of KM44. Next coin comes from Greece. This one is going to be dated 1926, but on this side, all we have on here is the picture of Athena looking towards the left. So this comes from a time where it was the Greece Republic, which lasted from 1925 to 1935. And most of their circulating coins all had Athena on them. And even though the Greece Republic ended in 1935, I forgot the name of the Democracy Republic that came after that, but these coins still stayed in circulation until 1944 when they came up with their new drachma system. But this one is a half a drachma. It is a 50 lepta from 1926. There is another version of this coin that has a B mint mark, which might appear over the letters or above the 1926. This one's just a blank space, but if you find one with the letter B on it, even though it'll have the date of 1926, it means that it was actually made in 1930 in Vienna. Catalog number KM68. As someone who likes also looking at maps, I love this style of coin from Brazil, which features a topographical relief map. So you can see where the mountains are, where the Amazon River would run through Brazil. So really like this design here from 1953 on a 2 Cruzeiros coin. I think this similar coins they made for 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 even, I think. But in later years they changed the aluminum bronze to an aluminum, all aluminum, so it's kind of a softer coin. This comes from the monetary system they used from 1942 to 1967. But here is the 2 Cruzeiros, 1953. Our next coin is from Argentina. This is a 5 pesos from 1967. And it's from, going to feature a sailboat on here. The specific boat shown here is called the Presidente Sarmiento frigate, which is now the Argentina Armada Museum. So this is must have been an important boat in Argentina naval history. Catalog number KM34. I guess I say this with every coin from Belgium, but I want to point out how the Belgium coins make 2 different versions of most coins. This one's no different, because there are 2 different official languages and 2 different spellings of their country. The French spelling of their country is Belgique, which is what we have seen here, so this is not the Dutch version of the coin. It's going to be a 50 centimes from 1927. This one is catalog KM87. Next we have a coin from Kuwait. I think it's funny here how it's 1970 something. They didn't fill that in, but it's I'm glad they didn't say it was a 0 fills on here, because that looks like a 0. That's actually how in Arabic you draw the number 5. It looks like a 0, but it's the 5 fills. But that's not the only number that looks like a different number. So the date here, that looks like a 1970 something. That is actually, they write their 6 the way that we write a 7. So they didn't even get the 1970s right on the front. But instead, that is the Gregorian date of 1968 and the Arabic date of 1388. This is a nickel brass coin, and it's KM number 10. It's a coin design that they've used for decades. One of the most popular coins from Australia for collectors, I believe, is going to be the kangaroo pennies. So this is, of course, British control, and I believe they made their Australian pennies the same weight and size as the British pennies. This one may have been cleaned, or if nothing else, it has kind of a weird toning or something happened to some of the color on there for it to have streaks running through the tail. But here we have our portrait of Queen Elizabeth. So this specific coin was made from 1955 to 1964. I believe there was a change to a couple of the legend on this side in her first year of reign. This one's cataloged KM56, and this coin is 1964, so the last year that it was made. Unless I'm forgetting something, this one is the oldest coin of the video, but it's also well worn, so it looks like it's one of the oldest. It's from Uruguay, back when it said República Oriental del Uruguay, so the date of 1901. So it just looks like a snowflake or something, but really there would have been a sun with rays coming out of it there in the middle of this coin. This one is going to be a 2 centesimo, so they had a lot of coins that looked like this at the time. This one's catalog number KM20. And so they made this coin for quite a while after this one out of copper nickel up until 1941, and then just copper from 1943 to 1951. One thing that is a little bit noteworthy on here is the A mint mark, which is right here, which means this was made in Paris. Paris doesn't always use mint marks. They usually go with the privy marks, but not on this one. They just have the A mint mark, and I don't believe there are privy marks on this one. We've got another well-worn Latin American coin. This one's going to be from Honduras from 1939. It's a 2 centavos coin, which is a denomination that didn't last very long. Here's where it says 2 or dos centavos of a lempira, since their currency is the lempira. So this was made out of bronze from 1939 to 1956. And then it was made out of bronze-clad steel in the year 1974. And that was the only years that the 2 centavos was made. There are other denominations that had lasted a lot longer. This one's catalog KM78. Here we have a King George VI coin. This one has a way off staple right there. Someone didn't want, I guess if there were 3,000 coins that were all in one purchase, they didn't want to really go to the trouble of stapling them all well. But this is a 10-cent coin from Hong Kong. Other side I thought looked a lot better than the portrait. Let's see, that side is... Okay, that side's up. This one was made out of brass from 1948 to 1951. Catalog KM25. Next coin is from Cuba. This is a 1-year circulating commemorative coin from 1953 from Cuba. It's a 1 centavo coin. This coin features the centennial of the birth of Jose Marti. So it was a 1-year coin. Although they made a similar copper nickel version of this coin that didn't say the centennial or centenario. And they made that for 1 more year in 1958 out of a different metal, copper nickel. 5 years after this one. So, like a lot of other Cuban coins, it still lists the weight in 2.3 grams on here, even though it's not a precious metal. But it's catalog number KM26. And our last of the 5 for $1 coins is going to be this 5-cent coin from the Bank of Guyana from 1967. Features a couple of animals on it. Probably should have only picked this one up if it was a little bit better shape. But a lot of the Guyana coins at this time featured the 3 stylized lotus flowers on the back. This one's catalog KM32. So after I finished going through the bin of 5 for $1 coins, he had some more carded coins that were, he said if you like those, you're going to like these even more. These are all individually priced, but were half the price of whatever's written on here. And we're going to start with this coin from Switzerland. So people went to a little bit more effort to label these. They labeled it extra fine using the E instead of the X. Sometimes you'll see people do that. But, of course, Switzerland, they call themselves Helvetia, their country. And this is a zinc coin that still has some of its shine left. And so it might be extra fine, but I like that. So to me, it's worth a little bit more than a coin that would have turned all black by now. And so I did pay $1.25 for this. And the book value only says $1, but I think that extra fine could be a little bit of an undergrade on here. Although, yeah, this side is a little bit worse. But there's the one wrapping. So this was made in 1944. There's the date at the bottom. There is a oh so tiny letter B over the 1944, means it was made in Bern. That's where it was minted. This is a design that lasted for a long time. So during the World War II days, it was made out of zinc from 1942 to 1946. But this design, Switzerland does not change the look of their coins very often. It was made out of bronze until 1941, but a design that started in 1850. So this design with the Switzerland cross on front of a shield lasted for almost a century, made it for 96 years, and then I believe they changed it to a design that had a stalk of wheat on it after that. So this one's catalog 3A. Next we have this coin from Panama, and I'm hiding the denomination on here for a reason, because this is a denomination that you're not going to see hardly anywhere. It looks like it's probably about a cent, but instead it is 1 1/4 of a centésimos. And I've got to think that was a very unpopular coin. If you don't like math, you're not going to like dealing with 1 1/4 centavos coins or centésimos coins. So yeah, this was only made for 1 year. This is the only year they made these 1 1/4 centésimos coins. But oddly enough, they made, so this would be half of a 2.5 centésimos coins, which lasted for a little bit longer. If you've ever heard of the Panama pill, that was the very tiny silver coin that Panama made around the turn of the century. And that was a silver coin that was about the size of an actual pill. So this is half of one of those. But by the time this coin was made, it was those were made out of copper nickel, but those pretty much stopped being made in 1940. The 2.5 stopped being made in 1940 for circulation. They still made some after that in just proof sets. I've had one in a previous video, but just yeah, I think this is such a fun denomination that you just don't see 1 1/4 of anything on a coin. But it features Vasco Nunez de Balboa, since their currency is the Balboa. Catalog KM15. This one does book for $2.50, and I paid half of that written on the screen, so I paid $1.25 for it. This next one I got for below foreign exchange value. We've got a euro. Actually, it's a €2 coin from 2002. So if I paid half at $3, that means I paid $1.50. But in foreign exchange value, this is worth about $2.20 in U.S. money. And if you look it up in Numista, it's going to say that pretty much this coin is worth $2.20 because there's plenty of them out there, and so you pretty much get foreign exchange value on something like this, unless it's in really nice condition. But this was made in 2002. It was the first year of the Euros in Italy. And this, most countries have a commemorative coin that they release every year, but this is the standard €2 coin that Italy releases every year, featuring Dante, the famous author. And technically his name is Dante Alighieri. And the depiction here is from a famous painting by, in America we would call it Raphael, or I guess if you're in Italy you'd call the painter Raffaello. There is the standard €2 design with the first mapped version of the euro. Catalog KM 217. So this is a coin I have, but this one's definitely an upgrade. So on this side, 1948, this is the typical look of a territory or place controlled by France. In 1948, this is aluminum. It features the what you typically see on the French-controlled areas, the Liberty head with the Phrygian cap looking to the left. But the specific country this was overseen from was the territory of Cameroon. And it's a 1 franc. Catalog KM8. Some people call this the French Mandate of Cameroon. That's how it's listed in my catalog. And so they had $4 written on this red-colored flip. Get your attention, doesn't it? The red-colored flip. But so I paid $2 for it. It said that MS63 would be $2 on this. And I guess it's brilliant uncirculated enough to call it MS63. And if I didn't say earlier, that is a gazelle, the animal featured on here. So nice upgrade to my collection, I believe. So we're down to our last coin. This is the one that I paid the most for. So half of $10, I paid $5 for this, and I'd never seen anything like it. It's from Kutch, which is an Indian princely state. I don't know what fizz means on here, but they did get the date wrong on here. But the value of this coin is a 3 dokta, which is a currency that I'd never heard of before. So this is an Indian princely state. The date on here is not 1936, but that is how a 4 is drawn in a small number of Arabic countries, where it looks like there's a 4 coming off the side of a 1. 1934. So this side of the coin features a dagger pointing up. And in the Urdu, it has the words George V, Emperor of India, struck in Bhuj. And I'm just guessing on the pronunciation of that city, Bhuj. So 1934 is the Gregorian date on this coin. We flip it over and it has a different alphabet on it. This one features a trident facing up. And I believe this is in Sanskrit. It has, first of all, it has a date right here. To me, that looks like the letters I, N, and O, but that actually stands for 1990. On the calendar, the VS calendar, Vikram Samit, I think, is the name of the calendar of this region. So their 1990 would be the Gregorian 1934. The ruler, and I'm going to take a shot at this, Maharo Sri Kengarji the third. So it is a large coin. It has a weight of 24 grams. It's made of copper. It has a diameter of 33 millimeters. And one thing about these coins is they have a series about them. So every time there's a new British monarch, they would change the series. So since this was made during the reign of George V, this is called Series 4. And since you've never heard of a dokta before, unless you're more familiar with these coins than I am, 2 trambillos would make 1 dokto. This is a 3 dokta. And if you had 8 of these, it would be worth 1 kori, which was their silver coin at the time. In the catalog, this is Y57. If it was actually the year of 1936, that would have been a 1-year coin that had a better value. But my catalog says that in very fine condition, this would be worth $5. And extra fine would be worth $7. And I guess they don't expect anyone to find this in uncirculated condition because that price was not listed in the catalog. So I've got to think this is one of the better specimens of this series that's out there. So definitely a winner here. This is my first coin from the Indian princely state of Kutch. So maybe 6 or 7 different princely states, but my first one from this one. All right, that was a lot of good stuff from this first time I'd ever met this dealer in the Georgia area. So I've got some more videos that I'm going to make from this specific show, and links to some older videos here at the end here. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.